Good afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's enjoying their lunch, and so far, I hope you enjoyed the early sessions. My name is Cindy Cotton, and I'm the Executive Director of the Osterville Village Library and also the Interim President of Philanthropy Partners of Cape Cod. And I am so thrilled to welcome you to the 28th Annual Philanthropy Day on Cape Cod. The mission of PPCI is to support philanthropic community through education, network, and celebrating the impact of charitable giving. PPCI membership means connection, education, and community. It's where nonprofit leaders, volunteers, board members, and fundraisers come together to share ideas and grow. If you're not a member yet, please stop by the table in the exhibitors hall. We'd love to welcome you and help you make the most of your PPCI membership. Join the hundreds of individuals and businesses that are already members on the Cape and Islands today. Visit Cape Cod Giving. Please also consider getting involved in our PPCI volunteer for the 2026 Philanthropy Day. We're recruiting volunteers, and it's a great way to connect, contribute, and make an impact. As a nearly all-volunteer organization, PPCI thrives thanks to the time, talent, and expertise of our board of directors. I would like to acknowledge our board now. Jen Allard of Mainsail Events and Marketing, Sarah Anton of the Cape Cod Community College Foundation, Laura Kanata of Community Development Partnership, Krista Delanowitz of Housing Assistance Corporation, Vanessa Green of Cape Cod 5 Bank, Bridget Krug of Cape Cod Commercial Fishermen's Alliance, Suzanne Longergan of Cape Cod Maritime Museum, and PJ Richardson of the YMCA of Cape Cod. May I ask my fellow PPCI board members to please stand and be recognized? And many, many thanks to the board. We also owe a tremendous thank you to Jean Kaforis, our PPCI Administrative Coordinator, whose steady hand, hard work, and unwavering commitment have been the heartbeat that keeps everything and everyone running smoothly. Thank you, Jean. In the true spirit of Philanthropy Day, we are thrilled to offer 6 $500 mini grants to be awarded to PPCI members later today. 5 of the grants have been generously funded by the Bill Ezekian Family Foundation, with an additional grant sponsored by Mass Hire of the Cape and Islands. These will be drawn at 3:45 at the Bogies Tavern, right here at the Emerald Resort. It's the start of our after party. You must be present to win. I'd also like to thank our speakers and panelists for the time and knowledge that they have shared today. And thank you again to our annual sponsors for the commitment to furthering the growth and progress of our nonprofit community on Cape Cod and the islands. Today would not be possible without your support. Before we begin the awards portion of our program, I wanted to take a moment and recognize today's Philanthropy Day honorees truly embody the spirit of giving, reminding us that philanthropy isn't always measured by the size of the gift, by the generosity of the heart and the lasting impact it creates in our community. So without further ado, on behalf of the PPCI board, I would like to recognize our co-chairs, Sarah Anton and Bridget Krug, and welcome them back after they kicked off the morning program to kick off everyone's favorite part of the program, the awards.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good. For those of you just joining us, I don't have to say this because Cindy just introduced me. So Sarah Anton, CEO of the Cape Cod Community College Educational Foundation.
And I'm Bridget Krug, Director of Development at Cape Cod Commercial Fishermen's Alliance.
Now is the moment we get to celebrate the spirit of giving, and I hope you brought your tissues. The Distinguished Service to Philanthropy Day Awards shine a light on the remarkable people in our community who embody generosity, collaboration, and the power of working together to make a difference. Bridget and I are honored to present this year's award recipients. We'll start by announcing the category, then share a short video showcasing each honoree's remarkable accomplishments. After that, we'll invite the honoree to the stage to accept their award, take a photo, and say a few words. Are we ready? All right, let's go.
The Outstanding Volunteer Award honors an individual who demonstrates exceptional leadership and a strong philanthropic commitment through fundraising efforts and coordinating community involvement in programs that benefit the Cape and the Islands. Please roll the video.
I joined the trust when Tom joined, now over 20 years ago, and we were the new kids, if you can believe it, because so many of the founders were still involved. And when Bob Smith died and Tom stepped up, it was just transformative. He was able to keep, I mean, Bob was such a strong figure and such a legend, and for Tom to fill those very big shoes, and not only did he fill those shoes, but then he did it with his own style, always a smile on his face. Really, it's such a complex position, both Michael's and Tom's, of keeping the town on board, keeping neighbors on board, keeping the board involved. We all have different thoughts and ideas, all of our board members, and Tom has just such incredible people skills, such great analytical skills, and that's why we've succeeded. What Tom and Mike are an incredible partnership.
It's important to have this recognition. I was talking with Tom beforehand, and he said that there's so many other people who he feels deserve an award too and do so much more than him, but he really does a lot. He's so consistent. I think people who work with him are inspired by his work and his knowledge and passion, and will bring more volunteers and bring more people into the community.
Tom is always a willing and ready sounding board on a range of opportunities and challenges that we all face in the nonprofit world. He's an inspiration to others, and if you were to ask him about this award, the first thing he would probably say is that there are so many other people deserving of this recognition. And I think that quality speaks volumes because he's always putting others first.
All right, you said I look all right?
You look great.
All right.
You look great, Tom.
Thank you. Robert F. Smith, who was the founding chair of the board of the Harwich Conservation Trust back in 1988, is someone that I had known well for years, and he'd been asking me for a long time if I would be interested in joining the board, and I was busy with other endeavors. And finally, I think it was in 2005, I capitulated and said, okay, Bob, I will join the board, and his leadership was inspiring. And the reason for that is that Bob had muscular dystrophy for most of his adult life. And by the time Bob had asked me to join the board, he was confined to an electric wheelchair. So here's the president of the board of a land conservation organization who is trying so hard to preserve properties that he himself will never be able to enjoy. And I think that was the key inspiration for me. I was vice chair of the board. Everyone on the board knew that I had no interest in succession. I was a nominal vice chair. And sadly, Bob died in 2015, and I did what vice chairs do. I have now been in this position for 10 years, but Bob is the one who provided the initial inspiration, not just for me, but for the entire work of the Harwich Conservation Trust. Our Cold Brook Preserve is named in honor of Bob Smith. It's the Robert F. Smith Cold Brook Preserve. The ecological restoration project was actually 12 years in the planning. Bob was still president of the board when that work started. And the fact that it features an all-persons ADA walking trail is really a tribute to Bob. So trying to pay attention to disabilities, access, is part of our DNA, and that goes back to Bob. There are so many other people on the Cape, whether it's working for nonprofits or working in the public sector on town boards and committees, who are doing just as much, or sometimes even more than I am. So I'm really humbled by this, knowing that there are lots of other folks out there doing the same kinds of work.
Please join me in welcoming Tom Evans, our Outstanding Volunteer of the Year, to the stage.
Oh my God, you all are too kind. I did not see the video in advance, so it's basically given my speech for me. So very little to say. I will say, poor Sarah. And why? Because when Sarah called and to announce this honor, I was playing the role of lawn boy outside, and Jan took the call. Sarah had no way of knowing that Jan had already received 3 phone calls earlier in the day. We call them the boink calls. There's the boink, the long silence, and then somebody asks for Tomas Ivans. And Sarah warmed her way into Jan's heart just by asking if Tom Evans is there. And she came out and found me and said, "It's Sarah Anton from Philanthropy Partners." And Philanthropy Partners had sort of been part of my life, but it wasn't a household word. I actually go back to when it was the Planned Giving Council of Cape Cod and then morphed into Philanthropy Partners of Cape Cod. And I came in, and Sarah introduced herself and told me the reason for her call. And, you know, she earlier had to deal with Jan's less than warm hello. Now she has to deal with Tom saying, "Huh? Are you sure?" And the reason for my disbelief, or the reasons for my disbelief, go back to the video. There are so many people on Cape Cod who are doing the same volunteer work that I am for their respective organizations. They are extraordinary gifts of the heart. And I really do believe that they distinguish life on Cape Cod, especially the 9 months on Cape Cod when we're not all wrapped up in a frenzy. And it's not the nonprofits who are mostly gathered in this room. It is town boards, elected officials, sometimes in very thankless jobs. It's the church volunteers. It's the school volunteers. There are so many people contributing to the richness of this life on the Cape as we enjoy it. So, I accept this with extraordinary humility and gratitude and thankfulness. Sorry, Sarah, that didn't show when you called initially. But if such a thing is possible, I'd like to accept this on behalf of all of the volunteers in appreciation of, in support of, and in solidarity with the important work that they do on the Cape. I'm just one among many. I'm so grateful that you have acknowledged it. I love my work with the Conservation Trust, if that hasn't already shown. Mike has put together a fabulous team, and I enjoy being able to be part of it. But most of all, thank all of you for your roles, as varied as they are, in the support of philanthropy on the Cape. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And I think as fundraisers, we are all used to not so warm voices on the other end of the line, so that was fine. The Outstanding Youth Award honors young leaders or youth organizations who have demonstrated an outstanding philanthropic commitment to the Cape and Islands through fundraising efforts or community service. Please roll the video.
My name is Jordan Campbell, and what drew me to this club was my teacher from Enter the Business class from last year, Mr. Jansen. I had just came to the school. I had no idea what DECA was. He introduced me to it. At first, I was hesitant, and then when I finally got into everything, I was like, okay, this is fine. I actually enjoy this. It gives you a taste of what the business world is like. Personally, I would like to be an entrepreneur and be in the business field at all times because that's what just gives me joy. It makes me content.
I haven't been in DECA that long. Even the little experience that I have had has taught me a lot about how to hold myself, how to present myself more. I can present myself in a more business fashion and feel more confident in myself.
What inspired me to join was, we just really want to make more connections within Barnstable High School, within the club, all that. We just want to experience the competitions, all that, and really just gain more leadership skills, because I think we both play sports here at Barnstable, so we really want to build our leadership skills and get more experience with that.
The biggest thing that DECA really does is improves your public speaking skills. If you can sit down in a 10-minute role play with someone, really benefits.
So the Pink Shirt project started my sophomore year when Jansen tasked us with selling apparel. Any apparel, didn't matter what it was. So I know that all the sports games have breast cancer awareness themed games, so how can we incorporate this into the school store? So we brought in all of the sports teams and made customized jerseys for them, as well as selling general apparel to students, community members, parents, and this project took off. It was very popular, and then we continued it the rest of the years, and this year has been our most successful year with getting all the sports teams as well as community members and students involved, and then we donate half of our profits to the Dana-Farber Institute. And this project was very important to me, having a history of breast cancer in my family. It just meant so much to know that I could give back to the Dana-Farber Institute through such a meaningful place like DECA.
DECA fits so well with our Cape Cod community. You look at management, hospitality, entrepreneurship, finance, the whole show. And that's what Cape Cod offers you right out of high school. And you can go to college if you want. You can go into 4 Cs and come out of there with an associate's degree and dive right into the business world. So there's so many pathways, right? And that's where DECA offers a lot of opportunities for kids to get involved, learn some of these situational stuff that they might experience, but more importantly, problem solve. Public speak, confidence, and develop themselves and learn more about what they want out of life. We've been working to build a relationship with our business community ever since we started this, and it's grown so well. We go and ask for donations for different events. We do a calendar raffle in the fall. We do prep nights and have them come in and be guest judges for our students to give them an authentic experience. So for anybody out there who wants to be a part of what we're doing, there's so many different ways to do that. From financial needs, we have students who quite frankly, aren't able to afford the cost of DECA, from the district competition all the way through the international one. That's $3,000 to $4,000 total per kid, and that's a hard thing to come up with when you don't have enough for your family. But at the same time, we have needs for people to come into our school and sit down with these kids, talk with them, share experiences, because we can learn so much, right? The kids want to have a conversation with someone other than me. And the more hands, the lighter the lift, because the goal is we've got 200 plus kids in the pathway. We want every one of them to be here in DECA and competing. Some of them just need the little push to kind of help them get there. But if they show up, we're here to help make it happen. We never turn anybody away. So the group's always done the work to make it affordable, and it's just a continual challenge.
I'm pleased to announce Barnstable High School DECA as the Outstanding Youth Organization of the Year. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Squeeze in.
To the Philanthropy Partners of Cape Cod, we are deeply honored and tremendously grateful for this beautiful honor. I want to also thank specifically Mrs. Cotton, who has supported our club and has been a mentor and nominated us for this recognition, so thank you. Often in our youth, we believe the days ahead are just going to be simple, a continuation of the younger self. But as we grow and as we live through experience, we come to terms with the fact that that's not often the direction that we go. See, as we grow and learn new things, develop new passions and talents, we sometimes overlook the fact that we can immerse ourselves in our dreams by becoming innovators and entrepreneurs. And that is what our club helps people to realize. Beyond the business terms, perhaps the most critical skill that can be learned is to be able to connect and be able to communicate. In this era, networking and communicating skills are essential. And that single initial conversation can lead to long-term professional benefit. In our club and in DECA across the globe, this ability to cultivate professional, social, and networking skills is arguably the greatest advantage for any member. The high-stakes one-on-one role plays, the reactions from a judge is quite comparable and almost a mirror to real-world experiences, whether you're funding for a business, pitching for a contract, defending yourself against a corporate board, or closing a deal. The same basic skill is needed, how to communicate and how to talk. The lessons learned from the full scope of DECA, from the structure of how they operate at a local, state, national, and international level, to the strategy and discipline required. I have no doubt that when taken advantage of, and many of our members do, this club will fully prepare anyone for the launch of a professional career post-high school. You receive in this club as much benefit as you put in, which is also another thing that makes it so great and so unique. And the opportunities in this club are always limitless. So once again, thank you for this tremendous honor.
Thank you, Harry. So I've been leading this club since 2013, and it's come a long way since then. You know, the work that goes into helping them prepare and to raise the funds through their fundraising efforts to make it a cost-affordable experience is amazing work that they do behind the scenes. But then there's a lot of selfless acts that they take. And this year, really cool, they have worked with the United Elementary School. We are there once a month. We are partnering with them to open up this opportunity to 4th and 5th graders. And they are having tremendous success. They have about 50 to 60 4th and 5th graders each month show up amazed. So it's they're the reason why we do it, and it's worth it. So thank you. There you go. All right. Here's you guys. Well done.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you to Barnstable DECA. Everyone is so incredibly inspiring today. The Outstanding Business Award is presented to a business that has demonstrated exceptional commitment through financial support and by encouraging and inspiring others to take leadership roles in philanthropic initiatives that benefit the local community. Please roll the video.
My name is Michelle Meager, and I am the marketing manager here at CAM. One of the most exciting projects I think that we get involved with is the Blitz Build that Habitat for Humanity does every other year. And in that project, we come together with partners that we do a lot of business with year-round, and we all work together for a common cause of building a house in a week. So we're there donating the appliances. Our partners, our builder partners and designers are there helping out building the home. And it's just such an amazing community effort where so many different people come together to make it happen. We encourage we call it our Camely. It's our team of employees and all of our customers to join us on a team build day. So we go out to a home that Habitat is building and help raise the walls and help shingle and all of that, and it's a lot of fun, and it kind of puts into perspective really how much of an impact we are making in our community.
It started out very simply. We have these called rack cards, and one of our outreach team dropped by Cam and asked if we could put this holder. They said absolutely, and that's how it started, and then it led into a stronger relationship. They were very supportive of us at our 40th anniversary 2 years ago, and we've continued that relationship, and it's a significant relationship. After the first year, when we went back to talk to them and said, what do you think? They said, let's go, let's keep going, and here we are almost 3 years later. They have become, in all honesty, one of the catalysts for our ability to collaborate with a lot of other business owners on the Cape. And that list of business collaborators now exceeds 50. We've leveraged that, honestly, with other business owners who simply say, hey, I do this. Can we figure out a way that I can take my skills and abilities and help? And that has worked tremendously.
I'm Cindy Jones. I am a Gold Star mother of Captain Eric Jones. My husband and I lost Eric in Afghanistan in 2009. And from that time on, we have started a foundation called Heroes in Transition. We basically are following my son's love for mankind. Eric had an unbelievable ability of gathering people, making people feel welcome, and laughing with people. With Heroes in Transition, it's all about family. And with Cam, that falls right into that groove of, for me, it's a family. After I bought another appliance, I called Michelle up. She just really understood what we were trying to do in bringing this family, bringing this warmth to them, giving them a chance to enjoy different experiences. And she introduced me to Chef Linda, and all of a sudden, a beautiful night was developed. She and Linda put together a menu, and we had 8 couples. And of course, Cam's showroom is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I go in there and I still drool. And she had 1 couple in each of the cooking sessions as cooking areas, and each couple had a menu. They were all responsible for their own. They were all military. When I met Michelle and I met Linda, it just opened that door. It's like, oh my God. And then just sit, and I sat at the end of the table, the head, and I just looked out and I saw everybody just talking and over food and just laughing and enjoying each other. To me, that was the epitome of what Heroes is. And Cam created that for us.
I'm pleased to announce Cam Appliances as the Outstanding Business of the Year. Please join me in welcoming Erin Cox and Michelle Meager of Cam Appliances to the stage.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erin Cox, and I really am just here to stand in and accept the award on behalf of the Gralton family and the CAM team, still called the Camely, as Michelle has coined us. But they decided a few years ago to really try to take the impact that they were trying to spread in a lot of different places and really centralize that to make more of an impact. Michelle came on board at that time, and she really facilitated these relationships that CAM has developed with Habitat for Humanity, with Heroes in Transition, and also with CVOC, and also the Cape Cod Culinary Incubator that's in the back of CAM. So when I asked the Graltons what this meant to them, they said, you know, we come from a family that gives back, and they really feel very strongly about veterans and their public service, and also about housing and how it's really the important bedrock of society, and entrepreneurship, of course, being entrepreneurs. But they said, no one walks in this life alone, and that's really where they come from with that giving. And all of you guys are just doing such tremendous work all over the Cape, so you should be taking a moment to reflect and give yourselves a pat on the back for that. And really, Michelle has made this all happen, so it's really to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin and Michelle. Our final award is the Outstanding Philanthropist Award, which is presented to an individual with a proven record of exceptional generosity. This year's honoree reminds us that generosity is not confined to age or status, but woven into how we choose to move through the world. He invites us to look at philanthropy not as a milestone you reach, but as a way of living, noticing one another, lifting each other up, and tending to the connections that make our community strong. His actions remind us that the spirit of giving doesn't wait. It grows wherever it's nurtured. Please roll the video.
So in second grade, I did General Assembly in the cafeteria, and someone came in and talked about how people are homeless and didn't have a lot of money, and that made me sad. So I decided I wanted to give back to my community. So I started Loco Dose because I loved cooking.
Adrian was what our pediatrician called a spirited child when he was a toddler, and so he always had big ideas, very persistent. And people kept on telling us when he was younger, like, stick with it, he's gonna change the world. And it was hard to believe back then, and now it's crazy to think he's already doing it at 10. He at first started that he wanted to give back his birthday money, his Christmas money, which was great. And then, he gave that back, and he felt this immense sense of kind of responsibility. He was so happy to make that connection with people in the community who were doing great work. And then he asked, how can I do more? And so I said, well, you can start a business and raise awareness about these issues. And so he thought about it and said he loves to cook. Cooking has always been central to our family. And so that's where he came up with the idea of Loco Dose.
I nominated Adrian Oomer because he has been donating to HPC since 2022. He actually came to our organization after learning about homelessness in his school and had said to his parents that he wanted to make a contribution to help organizations like ours help people who were struggling with homelessness or housing insecurity. So he came in, I believe it was December of 2022, with something like $167 and some change. And the connection to HPC just started there. And it was later in the following summer that I heard from Adrian's mom that he had opened a little pop-up kitchen called Loco Dose out of their home in Brewster, and had sold food and made food all summer and wanted to bring in the profits from those sales, which were $500. He brought in the money and we talked more, and he continued to be engaged and involved. And at this point has given thousands of dollars to HPC and has spoken at events. He's been involved in several different fundraising events that we've had. And I think, most of all, he is just such a great example of how a young person, or really any person, can hear about an issue and get really inspired to get involved and be part of solving a community problem. And Adrian clearly does this work and his cooking from the heart, and really thinks about the impact that he's having on people in the community, and really wants to help to solve issues like homelessness. And you don't always see that in kids. And I think the fact that he was this motivated and inspired to be part of the solution and support a community is really meaningful. And we want to see more kids like Adrian.
I think Adrian is a visionary. I think he has big dreams for what he wants to do. And I think one of the greatest parts about his personality is that he is so persistent. He's gonna pursue them. And he's not afraid to fail. And so I see this from everything from being in the kitchen to what he wants to do in the next season of Loco Dose. Every recipe doesn't have to be perfect the first time. And we have a concept in our family where we talk about things going in the test kitchen. And it could be that it's a test kitchen for a recipe, or it's just a concept, this idea of like, let's try things out. Let's work in the sandbox and figure out what we want to do. I think he leads with that desire to try things and be able to grow things and do great things. And so as it relates to his future, I think he's got a great start with what he started, and I think he leads with wanting to make a difference in the world, which I couldn't be more proud of.
I am delighted to announce Adrian Oomer as our Outstanding Philanthropist of the Year. Please welcome me in joining him to the stage.
Thank you so much.
Oh, photo first.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay. Hello, I'm Adrian Oomer, and I'm in 5th grade at Eddy Elementary School in Brewster. And I am the founder of Loco Dose. So it was July, and I was eating a brunch with my cousins, and my mom came up to me and told me I had won Philanthropist of the Year. And at the time, I didn't know what philanthropist means. So my mom explained, and I felt really proud, and I felt like I was creating more hope. I hope that as a result of Loco Dose, everyone's basic needs are being met, everyone lives a happy life, and I also hope to inspire other people to do something they love for a good cause. I'm also going to thank a few people. First, I'm going to thank my daddy John for teaching me to make delicious Indian food. Next, I want to thank my Nana for teaching me how to bake and giving me my first cookbook. Next, I want to thank Chef Soroldi for helping me raise awareness of Loco Dose and teaching me about local ingredients. Now I want to thank Chef Sanchez for inspiring the Loco Dose and teaching me his ways. I also want to thank teachers like Miss Becky, Miss Emma, and Miss Brooks for supporting Loco Dose. And I also want to thank my parents for teaching me delicious food, to make delicious food, enrolling me in farm camp, and always being there for me. So now, just because I'm here, I'm going to share some of my goals for the year. First, I hope Loco Dose's holiday season is a big hit, and you can help with that by going to locodose.org today and ordering you, not your partner, not your kids, just you, some delicious food. Second, I hope season 4 of Loco Dose is a great season and that everyone is going to be really happy. And last, I hope to pass MCAS and make some game-winning three-pointers. Thank you.
Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Thank you. Great. Thank you. This is awesome. Here we go.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Enjoy this.
Okay. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Wow. It's a good thing we put him last, because that's a tough act to follow right there. Thank you so much, Adrian. That concludes the luncheon. Congratulations to all of our honorees, and many thanks to everyone for joining us for this special annual celebration. One quick housekeeping item. Tomorrow you'll receive a survey via email. Please participate, as your feedback is very important to us. So quick break now, and the final session, round of sessions is at 2:30. And remember to join us at Bogies at 3:45. Thank you so much.
And just a reminder to Philanthropy Day committee members and PPCI board members, please come up to the stage for our group photos now. Thank you, everyone.